Hello. Again. Hi. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hi, Margie.
All right, we're good. Okay. Hey, should I start?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Talk, Listen, and Share through Shay's Warriors. And we are joined tonight with a special guest, but I want to kind of introduce what Shay's Warriors is right now. And our mission for Shay's Warriors is living life, or is to inspire, inform, empower, and help women heal, and help heal women and their families through health, fitness, and mind-body connection. Ooh, okay, so Shay's Warriors is a 501(c) nonprofit founded by Shay and Eileen. Hi, Eileen. And we are a board of all volunteer people. And tonight, wanted to introduce Shay and Rosemary, and to, along with myself, host the Talk, Listen, Share. So Rosemary, I wanted to introduce Rosemary. She is a retired nurse, and she knows a ton about holistic nursing and essential oils, and so much like knowledge and experience in health. And of course, Shay, co-founder of Shay's Warriors, the powerhouse behind this group here, and our special guest Molly tonight. So Rosemary, you want to take it away?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Fung. So I'm Rosemary Flaherty, and Dr. Fung introduced me. I'd just like to add that I was a breast nurse navigator for 10 years at Eisenhower Medical Center, which is how I came to be a part of this group through my interactions with Shay. And so tonight we're going to deal with, there are so many aspects of the mind, body, spirituality connection that go into healing. So each session of Shay's Warriors is one of those little pieces that we can take home and use to keep in the back of our mind in our wonderful file pages of how to stay healthy and how to relax and how to deal with things. So tonight is going to be a really fun session on vision boarding, and our presenter, straight from Minnesota, where it's cold, I might say, is Molly Milinkovich, and her bio is pretty much like this. I am all about connection and love and joy. A Minnesota girl by birth and a California girl by heart, I have an undying sense of adventure that draws me out from behind my laptop and onto the water, a paddleboard being my preferred mode of transportation. I have an affection for a good book, real, pages preferred. Best find my center getting bendy on my yoga mat and feeling the most complete and full when laughter or loud car singing. My love for connection draws me to collaborations of all kinds in the community. I'm a mother, coach, learner, and a passionate advocate for creating an exceptional future for the generations that will follow us. I've got a vision for that future being a time when our educational system is created to educate the mind, the body, the spirit of our planet. That's beautiful. It is with great honor that I introduce Molly.
Hi, all. It's so interesting to hear someone else read that. I don't often hear other people read that. It's what's on my website, and it makes me hot and sweaty. You know, sometimes when people talk about you, you get hot and sweaty. Makes me a little hot and sweaty. I am Molly, and I'm just going to right now introduce you to Zuma. Zuma will be with us on this call. He's a very needy 1-year-old Yorkie, and he's in a mood tonight. So those of you who know Yorkies know he's just going to be a little bit, he's on a lot of calls with me, so I'm used to navigating things with him. I just want you to know he will be present in the room with us. Oh, buddy. Yeah, Shay, I don't even know, 10 years ago, probably-ish, we met, 8, 10 years. Shay and I have had just a really interesting weaving path together through so many random things. And so when she approached me to be a part of this call and to support this organization, I was honored to be brought into this group. I know the kind of work that you are all up to and the kinds of things that you're going through, and I am happy to be part of your support system tonight. So thank you for having me. I've been doing leadership development work and leadership coaching for about 10 years now. I was an elementary school teacher before. So I have a little bit of a varied background as well. I love the work we're going to be doing tonight. I do it all of the time on my own, over and over again. So what we're going to be going through tonight is something you can continue to do on your own. It's very simple. You can continue to do the format on your own whenever you want, for whatever you want. So this isn't like a one and done kind of thing that we're going to be doing tonight. It's a resource for you going forward in all areas of your life. That said, I'll just kind of outline how we're going to chunk out our time together tonight, and then I'll take any, questions about what we're going to do, and then we can dive in. So we're going to work in 3 little chunks tonight. The first will be focusing on the power of attraction, power of knowing what we want. So we'll be doing a little exercise with that. Then we'll be working into a reflection meditation and actually writing out a written vision. So we'll do a visualization first and then a written vision. And then the third chunk will be when you have time to create something visual from that. So what that allows us to do is go from internal visualization to written word, then to creating something visual. And that crosses all sorts of, I'm kind of a neuroscience-y nerd when it comes to happiness and joy and all those things. So this allows us to cross over all sorts of parts of our brain without getting too much into it. And it really, when we're able to do that, it integrates really solidly into what we're doing. So that's why it sometimes can seem redundant that we're doing the same thing in different ways, and we are on purpose. So if you're wondering why we're doing it that way, it's very intentional. Yeah, so that'll be the breakout of tonight. So you'll walk away with a written vision for yourself, and then at least the beginning of some visual creation that you are going to be doing on your own. I believe they're all prepared for like piecing together that visual, right, Shay? You told me that was going to be okay. Well, I can't hear you, Shay. Did you say something out loud?
Yeah, no. There we go. He's so quiet. No, it was all sent out, and if they have papers, pencils, pens, magazines, scissors, glue, tape, or you set a Pinterest board, so I've got that in front of me.
Perfect. Yeah, so before we get started with the first part, does anyone have questions? Anything you want to put out there? Let me know.
And you would just have to unmute yourself or raise your hand and I can unmute you if you're in the Zoom room. If you're on Facebook Live, just go ahead and send the questions.
Shay, are you navigating the Facebook Live questions?
I am, yes.
Thank you.
Why you'll see me kind of look down quite a bit.
I just want to make sure I wasn't responsible for that. Okay, great. We're going to get started then. So the first exercise we're going to do is something I learned from my mentor, Suzanne Conrad, and it really is based on the universal law of the power of attraction. So It's the power of knowing what you want. And the universal law it's based on is what we focus on, we attract, right? The law of attraction. So have you ever noticed when you start thinking about a new car you want, you start to see them everywhere? We draw in to our perception and to our life what we are focused on. So it's really important to be intentional with what we put in that space. So if you can take out a blank piece of paper and draw a circle on it, a pretty like sizable circle, leaving room on the outside, but a pretty sizable circle. What we're gonna do is fill the circle with things that we want in our life. Now, this activity you can do, sometimes I do it for really specific things. Like if I'm thinking about a new job or I'm thinking about, I'll do this just specifically for that job. So if you have an area you really want to focus on tonight, you can do that. Otherwise, just life in general. What are the things you want? It can be physical things, like if there is a car that you're focused on. It can be emotions. So it can feel vague. That's okay if you just want to say love and not clarify what that looks like or means. So it can be emotions, it can be physical things, it can be people, it can be places, it can be actions. So fill up that circle with things you want. And as you're doing this, things are going to come into your brain that you don't want. So as those things come into your brain, put them on the outside of your circle. So if you're doing, oh, here's all the wonderful things I want, and then those automatic negative thoughts start shooting in, those go on the outside of your circle. And I'm just going to give you a little time to write a few things. And then I'll speak a little more as you're writing. These can be things that you already have in your life that you want to be intentionally keeping in your life. They could be things you once had that you want to bring back, that have somehow left, or they can be things you've never had that you want to focus on bringing in. And as you work on this, I want to offer up, if there are things coming up on the outside of your circle, make sure that, oh, the light just went out in my house. That's interesting. Really interesting. Make sure that you have something on the inside of your circle that's like, not the opposite, but that it would counter. So if you have put fear on the outside of your circle, what would the counter to fear for you be? So what would it look like if there were no fear? What would the thing be that you would have in your life? So would it be faith? Would it be love? So what for you is the counter to fear if that's on the outside? So make sure everything that's on the outside of your circle has something on the inside that counters. I'm gonna figure out if I have a light situation. my light bulb burned out. Interesting.
Stuff always happens with us, Molly.
I've been here 2.5 years and I've never had to replace that light bulb.
Energy.
No, it's time. And you might find that there have been things that have really served you up until this point in your life that you've always had in your circle that you're ready to take out. You can intentionally do that at this time too. If there are just things that have been a part of your life that have served you that are not part of what you want to continue to keep in your circle, now can be a time for you to take them out. And it can be a very loving thing to do, to take some of those things out. Let's take about 30 more seconds. And like I said, this isn't a finite thing. You can do this. I do this all the time with lots of different things. So even if we end at this time tonight, you don't have to feel rushed. You can always come back to this. And the other thing I forgot to mention tonight is the format that we're doing is going to be the listen, talk, share within each section. So we're going to take a little time after we do each section for people to be able to share before we move on to the next section, if that makes sense. So that said, this is when we get to get really vulnerable and share. You can share whatever came up for you. If you have things that you're really excited about that you're pulling in, if there are things you really want to verbally declare that you're taking out or having on the outside, like whatever you want to share, or if you need coaching or guidance on any of it too, this is the time for that. So like Shay said, if you are muted and you want to unmute, you can either in the chat or raise your hand, let her know. What was that magical noise? That means something's happening.
Oh.
I don't know how to unmute, even though you may be the co-host. Shay.
Okay, am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Hi.
Some things that I would like to keep like this year and going forward is experience, just like having good experiences, confidence, letting go. I think that's like a big thing. Just letting go of things like don't work out my way, or like something happens, or letting go of a person or situation. I also want to continue to be kind and generous and work on that. work on my faith a little bit more, continue to have travel and friends and good energy. Those are a couple things I like. Oh, and clear skin.
Your skin's great.
And then some things on the outside of my circle is being discouraged, sadness, drama, bad energy, and not doing my best.
Do you feel like you have things on your inside that counter all of those?
Yeah, I feel like I have pretty good things that to go with those.
Okay, good. And then what I'll offer to you is for everyone after this call, if you want to dive into them a little bit more. So things that I heard were letting go. So if you want to take letting go, and then you can make a little bullet point of here's what it looks like when I let go, or here are things I do to let go. So you could really take what you have here and break it down into some actionable things if you want to take some time like later or in the days to come to really dive into what these things look like and how to make them come alive.
Right, and what they actually mean.
Yeah, exactly. So because it's letting go for me is different than it will be for all of you, right? So it's important to identify what it looks like for yourself. So that's, I mean, it's something I do with a little bit longer session, but with the time here, that's not, we're not going to dive into that, but it is something you can dive into on your own after, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Anyone else have anything?
Share some stuff.
Yeah.
Specifically, I'm trying to work on my business, my clinic, and I'd like to have a better cohesive team that is on mission. I'd like to have very happy, grateful, helpful patients because that always makes my day go much more smoothly. And good, clear communication between like my staff as well as my patients, and no drama, and also working on better faith connection and prayer, and trying to get my team to work hard for it, for like the greater good.
So Zuma liked that one. So
All right, I like it too.
So when you say that, just take out the trying to get a better and just declare what it is. So take out all of the trying language. When we're doing this, we're training our brain, right? We're training our brain for what we want. So we can take all the language of try, hope, wish out of it, and just have it be what we're creating. It helps our brains to know exactly how to navigate it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, what other thing I heard you say no drama. So if there's no drama, so drama would be on your outside. What would be on the inside? And then I feel like all the things you said prior to that would indicate no drama.
Yes.
But is there anything else you would add in? So what does it look like? If there's no drama, what is there?
My cohesive team.
Great. Perfect.
Molly, we have a live chat. It says, in Fred's circle, in health time experiences of bucket list, and out of the circle, anger, rushing.
Yeah, so make sure inside that circle you have something that counters anger. It sounds like you already do with a lot of what you wrote, and something that counters rushing. I felt myself, when I said rushing, I felt myself take a deep breath, because sometimes when I start doing this work, I start doing this. So slowing down and taking a breath. Good reminder. Thank you for that. let's do, I'm trying to mind the time too. If there's one more share before we move on to the next part. No? Okay, we can move on. The reason we start with this is to get your mind starting to really focus on the things that you want in your life before we start to create the vision and the story of it. So this is more of a listing, getting your headspace in the right place to start to paint a picture of your life. So I've done vision work for a very, very long time. I've done it imagining my life 10 years from now, 20 years, 5 years, 1 year. And tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a vision for your current life. So like stepping into the world an hour from now when we hang up this call. So that it's going to be a little bit different than I typically do. And it's going to be the most important for this group right now is to do a vision for our current life. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to guide you through kind of a visualization meditation. So you won't need to be writing during this first part. It's all going to happen in your mind. You're going to create a story or a picture in your mind. And then afterward, I'll give you the opportunity to write it down. So create an environment, little mini environment for yourself. If it's going to distract you to have your pen in your hand, set it down. Whatever you need, just write in your little immediate environment. Get yourself set up to be able to relax and let yourself go into your mind for just a few minutes. So if it means resituating yourself on your chair, putting your feet on the ground, setting your things down, whatever that means. I'll just give you a second to do that. And then if you are comfortable, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And we'll just take 3 deep breaths together. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And let your mind begin to wander to your day as you wake up and open your eyes to a life you are creating for yourself. What does it look like to start your day? Who are you surrounded by? What are the rituals or habits you start your morning with? Think about the things you're going to be looking forward to. How will you be spending your day? How will you be spending your time? Will you be seeing friends, going to work, going to school? What does your environment look like? Do you spend time outside? Do you spend time indoors? And think about how you're going to take care of yourself. What are you putting in your body? How are you moving your body? How are you loving yourself? And then think about how you're going to give back to the people in the world around you. What are the ways you will contribute? As you move throughout your day, what are the things you're intentionally bringing in? And as your day starts to close and you reflect, what are the things you're most grateful for? What are the moments that made you smile and laugh? What are the things that made you proud? What filled your heart? And as you quietly open your eyes, you can grab your pen or your pencil in front of you and write down as much of that as you can remember. It might come out in bullet points, it might come out in story form, paragraphs, description, however it comes out. Remembering the things that filled you up, things you're grateful for, the way you're taking care of yourself, all of those details. We have another friend Zoom. Another minute or two to write. So this is one of those really important things when we take our daydream in our head and put it on paper in words. Covers both sides of our brain and helps ourselves to really let it integrate. I often tell people when we do this exercise that really all it is it's remembering how to daydream. And something we all used to do when we were young, and then we stopped and let our days get filled, and we stopped daydreaming. But daydreaming is how we create our chosen lives. So it's important to spend some time daydreaming and retrain ourselves how to daydream. And I will share, as you're finishing up writing, like I said, I've been doing this specific activity for over 10 years, and there are times when I absolutely cannot come up with a vision. When things feel really, really blocked, when things feel confusing, or I'm uncertain about choices I have to make. So as you do this, if there are times when this feels really difficult to do, that's okay. It's probably when you need to do it the most. Zoomy, come here. There's an animal outside on the deck. So just don't feel discouraged if you sit down to do this sometime and it feels really hard, or if tonight it felt really hard. It probably means there's some big things happening for you in your life, and it's a time when you just need to allow yourself a little bit more space for this. So it's not always the easiest thing. And I would love to open up for anyone to share, whether it's, if you want to share your whole vision, feel free. If you want to just share things that came up that were maybe surprising or exciting, or things that came up that, whatever you want to share. It's really, really fun to say them out loud sometimes, because it's almost like when you speak them out loud, they become super real. So it's a good thing to do, to speak your vision, or at least certain parts of it out loud.
Well, I'll contribute something.
All right.
I was a nurse for close to 40 years, so I've had a lot of time dictates all of my professional life, every minute kind of consumed. So in retirement, something that I've really struggled with is organization and purpose, and just feeling like I'm accomplishing as much as I should be accomplishing. It should be being, I should be sitting down someplace for 9 hours a day and just not moving. So I had to get over that mindset. So that's getting reordered, and I appreciate that I have been able to just be kind of patient with myself with these struggles. So a lot of it is just some organizational themes of home improvement and being more specific with my goals. I'm on 2 boards, so being able to balance the boards and the time, and allowing myself to feel a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day, because time is more fluid now, but it doesn't mean that it's not productive time. So dealing with those aspects of life right now are interesting.
Do you have an idea of how it feels to have a structured cadence to that loose time? I mean, are you starting to feel like you have a flow to it, or how you structure loose time?
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of it is setting up the appropriate place, and just there's a reorganization that's involved in keeping multiple things of completely different topics going than being focused on one thing, so but the value of that is there's a great deal of learning and a great deal of research and a great deal of sharing that's involved now, that of things that are at a much more mind-body individual place. So that's been valuable. And then, thinking about times, it's tough right now to figure out future because of COVID. So talking about right now is just allowing yourself to just feel present, and allowing myself to feel present at home and finding those nourishing spots every day. One of my friends sent me something the other day that I thought was an interesting practice that I want to do. Is she said at the end of the day, start writing 10 visions of your day, almost like what were the 10 photographs of your day that brought you joy or that were significant or defined your day. It can be 10 photographs of everything, but 10 moments at the end of the day that you remember and that are significant enough for you to remember and have something attached to. So I thought
that it's like a visual gratitude.
Yeah.
Like an expansion of a gratitude practice.
Yeah. So those types of practices are really important right now where we are. So I think that it gives a real grounding and significance to our lives.
I think it is a really interesting point to bring up. I'm currently not working, and I'm also used to a very structured, like my time is usually very structured, and I haven't been working since March, and I have multiple family members who are high risk, so I'm choosing not to work until it feels a little bit more stable. But for me, it has taken a while to figure out how to structure loose time and to feel accomplished with time that is not as dictated as I'm used to. So I think a lot of people are experiencing that right now, because otherwise the days, pretty soon it's 3 p.m. and I'm like, what have I done today? And I'm somebody who likes to do things, to accomplish things. So I've had to figure out how to structure loose time. I mean, I don't know a better way to say it. Yeah. So I literally get up in the morning and I make a list every day. And I don't say when I'm going to do all of those things, but those are the things I'm going to do throughout the day. And then I make sure I do them. So I think it's also allowing, Zuma, come here. It's also allowing us to rediscover our internal cadences. When our time gets shaken up like that, it allows us to figure out, oh, I actually am really productive at 6 a.m. I don't have to wait till 9 or 10 when I get into the office to be productive. I'm really productive at 6. So it's a good time to tune into those things too, for sure. Thank you for sharing. And I love that gratitude practice. That's probably one I'm actually thinking, I'm a major picture taker, much to my son's dismay. I have so many photos of everything all the time. Like creating a little album somewhere of the things I've taken photos of throughout the day as a little reflection and gratitude practice is a fun idea too. I like that. It's a great idea. Thank you. Anybody else want to share part of your vision or things that maybe came up and surprised you that you didn't expect to see, or something you're really excited about?
It's so quiet.
I know, so share.
Nobody's gonna find it.
I'm just enjoying seeing all the doggies.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's the only naughty one.
Wait, we have a Facebook Live coming in.
Mhm.
Fred says, live life my way, revise a company to operate how I want, capturing the current changes, innovating while providing a lifestyle I've always desired.
Nice.
I'll share something. I have, this kind of goes back to the circle a little bit too, but you know, I most recently in the last 3 months was diagnosed with some major anxiety by a doctor. And so it's pretty hard for me to actually be vulnerable enough to even say this on a Facebook Live and with you guys tonight. Because being on medication has always made me feel very shameful. And it's affected a lot of stuff in my relationships and my family and friends. And so I envision like being able to continue to like heal because the anxiety really got heightened during COVID. And I think the fears of having reoccurrence with cancer and the trauma of that really like put it into a tailspin, and I've been hiding it for a while. So when I think about this and like what's going on tonight, like it's kind of like a little bit of a step to be able to just kind of be in a space where I have support and I don't have to bear the burden myself. So yeah, that peace and calm is what I see right now, like trees and all that good stuff, and maybe a Zuma beach.
Exactly. Well, what I'll say is that peace and calm that you're experiencing right now, that's your vision for what you're doing too. That's why you're doing this. It's not just for yourself, but to offer a space for people to experience that peace and calm when they're going through trauma. I mean, that's what this is, right? It's a place to feel safe and to feel supported and to feel loved. So not only are you creating it, but now you also get to sit in it for a bit, which is great. Thank you. Like I said, this is something you can do all the time, tap into all the time. This is just a starting off point for creating visions for yourself. Let yourself daydream. Give yourself, like my grandma used to say, take a 20-minute nap every day, just enough so you don't quite fall asleep. So that can be your time when you let yourself like fall into that dream-like space and think about these things. Think about your ideal day, your like what you want to create. I actually, what we're going to move into next with the visualization and bringing in pictures and things to create a visual piece. It's almost like the opposite of what Rosemary said. It's like creating a pre gratitude board. Like, here are all the things I'm going to bring in that I'm going to be grateful for. So it's like the sandwich, right? Like, that's the end of the day. This is the beginning. It's the, here's really what I want to focus on and bring in, and I'm going to put pictures to it. So that's the next part of what we're going to bring in. And I'll just say there are lots of ways you can do this. So some people do vision boards on Pinterest all the time. Some people do big, huge ones that live in their house. I love to do individual little ones on index cards. So I do lots of little mini vision boards for different things. And then I like put them in books or put them in my purse or put them, like, I have them around. I have one in my fridge right now. So you can do little mini vision boards for all different parts of your life all the time. So you can do like a little mini work one of how you want your work space to be. You can do one of your friend group, like a friend vision board of how you want to spend your time with your friends. You can do one for like books you want to read. I mean, you can do them for anything. So so what I do with those is I take an index card, I do my little mini, and then I take like packing tape and I basically laminate it with packing tape so that I can just, throw it in my bag or whatever, and it's totally safe. So that's it. Those are a few suggestions of how you can do vision boards. Or if you're like super artistic and you want to draw your vision board, I've seen people do that. That is not my skill set. I do not do that, but I've seen people create really beautiful pieces of art that are their vision boards. So if you have that skill set and want to take some time, it's a really fun way too. So what we're going to do is you can actually take a combination of your power of knowing what you want circle and your vision that you've written, and start to create your vision board. Now, if you have like magazines or things around that you're going to cut out, don't overthink it. If you go to a page and something jumps out at you, cut it out. Like, don't overthink too much. So you're already in this really positive mind space of how you want your life to be. So when you come across things that are appealing to you, you have no idea what purpose they're going to serve in the future. So just bring them in. Allow space for yourself to be surprised by some of the stuff that you're attracted to when you're creating. Some people like to go online and like search and print out things too. So that's something you can do if you have the resources right now. I don't know how many of you have like multiple technologies in front of you that you can do that with. Shay, you said you have your Pinterest board in front of you that you're gonna work on too. So I just want to give you some space now to combine all of those things together into something visual. And we'll do that for a little bit, and then we'll come back together even if you're not quite feeling done, and probably 15-20 minutes or so, and we'll talk a little bit before we wrap up. But I want to give you some space now to explore the visual part of it and to allow yourself to be drawn into that piece from where you're coming from with your words and your imagination. Shay, do you know how to play music so it plays correctly? I can never get it to work.
On Zoom?
Yeah. There's a way to do it. I'm not that Zoom savvy.
Well, that's the first I've ever heard of it.
There's a way. And normally I would play music, and I have not found a way to make it not be choppy and annoying, and then it gets distracting. But there's a way. So if anyone knows, there's a way. Otherwise, if you're on mute, put your own music on.
I'll go ahead and unmute yourself, Jalen.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you can like share your screen and share your audio somehow to like upload, like I guess like if you did music off of like YouTube or something like that.
You did it that way.
Yeah.
I know I can share my screen, but there is a way to share audio too, where I can
That's a way to share audio, and then you can we can hear that.
Well, you guys start working on that. I'm going to play around because I'm co-host, right?
Yes.
Try not to be annoying. Let me see.
Don't delete us.
I'll try not to cancel the whole call. Oh, good grief. That would be exactly
Don't
what
understand. Not technical. I mean, we're looking.
I see. Is that working?
When I look back on those years gone by, all those mountains standing in my mind, I could have folded, could have turned around, but all good stories have their ups and downs. So I had to find my way through. 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 The fruitful darkness is all around us in bloom. Infinite calm, crystal clear. break me at the pattern, the rings of Saturn, yeah. Get me out of my way. I surrender mission to gain another vision. Get me out of my way. The stars, they be whispering, longing to be kindred. Get me out of my way. A true double secret to find it in the picture. Get me out of my way. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. If I try to push, I leave myself blinded. Yeah. Get me out of my way. And so I stay reminded it's all perfect timing. Get me out of my way. I gotta go under if I wanna find it. Get me out of my way. I am that I am that I am what I am. Love I am that I am what I am. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. I'm still learning how to walk in my fire. Live in my fire. Love in my fire. This journey's got me bleeding, a certain kind of feeling. But I can never leave it. Good God, I know I need it. Arrows come straight for my heart. Arrows come straight for my heart. I thought I'd never face it, and now it's stripping naked. It's standing in the open. I thought I missed the omen.
take one more song and then we'll come back together and talk for a bit.
Tell me what just happened, lonely. I remember walking up those stairs. We were stepping into a sacred light. And tell me what just happened, lonely. I remember looking at the wrinkles on your face, reminding me of rivers in the holy land. Tell me what just happened over there. You can hear my soul. You can hear my soul. I know. You can hear my soul. Tell me what just happened over there. I remember walking up those stairs. We were stepping into a sacred light. And tell me what just happened over there. I remember looking at the wrinkles on your face, reminding me of rivers in the holy land. Tell me what just happened over there. You can hear my soul. You can hear my soul. I know. You can hear my soul.
Okay. Well, hopefully that gave you a start at least to start to gather some things and to find some. Does anyone want to share anything that came up from them for them during that time? Let me see if I can unmute you. Does that work? Oh, there, I got it.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to share that I didn't know that you could make a vision board on Pinterest. So that is going to be my new obsession.
Yes. Then you can categorize different vision boards on Pinterest.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So I'm just playing around with that and it's really fun. And I think a way better, if I'm going to be on my phone, probably a way better use of my time than being on Facebook or Instagram. So,
Well, and then also what you can do is you can screenshot and put it as your background of your phone.
that's a good idea. Okay, cool. Yeah.
You just have it every time. It's like your brain sees your vision all the time. Awesome. anything else? Rosemary, what were you saying?
Gotta unmute. Oh, wait. We can mute.
One of us have to do it.
She must have muted herself.
Muted.
There you are.
Can I hear me now?
Yes.
I wanted to comment that that looks like an amazing hula hoop that she's sitting on.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a weighted one.
Yeah, you have a weighted hula hoop there.
Those are intense.
Well, I found something in a magazine because I always think of collage when I think of vision boards. I know there are many other ways, but you know, there's something about scissors and paste that I find gratifying. And there was something that said the best version of yourself starts here. And so that's the way that I
Oh, I love it.
kind of frame that. So, yeah.
Every day, right? Every day it starts here. Sometimes in the middle of the day, I have to start over. And here, we're going to start here all the time.
And you can't see it, but there's a picture of a woman in a convertible with a long road ahead of her. So that fits in. So
Yeah.
it's a journey. And it
It
starts.
is a journey.
That kind of sounds like a Thelma and Louise type of thing. I just envisioned.
It does. I think that there are much better couples behind a convertible than Thelma and Louise. Take a little bit more predictable path.
I didn't mean the end game on that one.
What else? And if anyone wants to come on and say like, I really struggled with this, or this was a really hard, all three things were hard for me tonight, or whatever it is, also that it can also be any sorts of those kinds of shares too.
And for anyone who isn't like sharing your video screen, if you want to pop something in the chat too, feel free. We can just
we do have some non-video people. We just have like 10 more minutes together. So this is also the time. It doesn't even have to relate to your vision board. Anything you want to bring up, talk through, share, ask for support on, now is the time during our time together. And it doesn't just have to be support from me. It can be things you want to bring up with the group, anything. I don't see it. Oh, here. Just
okay. I will unmute you. There you go.
Thanks, Shay.
Hi.
Hey, this is just a wonderful exercise this evening. Thank you so much. As I was trying to put my vision board together and looking for images and things, throughout this cancer journey, I've been struggling with gratitude. And I think as a mom and all of that going on, I'm used to people needing me and not when I'm needing others. And one of the things I have on my vision board was to do a better job of showing gratitude. It's hard to ask for help, and it's wonderful when people simply volunteer it for you. And as I was trying to find images, one of them was to write cards, handwrite cards. I was looking for images for that. And one came with a little tagline, and it said, "Gratitude with grace." And I'm thinking, you know, that's really something key for me that I really want to focus on. And there were words these were put into words now that I can envision going forward with that as I work through this, being able to thank others for supporting me, because it's not a place I've had that has happened to me before.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And that actually brings up, Shay, what you and I had briefly talked about the other day. Um, so I've led some work like this with widow groups before, and I think there's a parallel in one of the activities that we do is to reintroduce yourself as who you are now. So, um, and that could be I'm someone who needs other people and needs support and shows gratitude, and that might not be who people have known you as. So, the ability to create a vision for yourself and to create this, to do this process over and over is really to reintroduce yourself to others. So there might be things and ways that you need the world to relate to you now that haven't been before. And you might need to share with people close to you, here's who I am now. And here's what I need now. And that might be different than what you're used to from me. So that might include gratitude. It might include a different kind of support. So I just be willing to say, hey, I know I haven't been the person before that's been this, and now I'm this, and this is what I need, and this is who I am, and I like to reintroduce you to myself now. And that's, I mean, anyone who's gone through any sort of trauma is a new person. There are different things you need, and so it's an important activity, and it's important to reflect yourself on those changes that have happened instead of trying to carry through as how things have always been and who you've always been, because it might not be the same anymore. And give yourself exactly what you said, give yourself grace in that process. For sure. Thank you. What a great share. Thank you.
Yeah, Margie, I think that you like hit the nail on the head, because I think as we all come from different walks of life too, and how we grew up, and sometimes you were the only person to have, you were the one that people relied on, and you took care of things, and that sometimes becomes a pattern, and you just go into your adult life like that, and you would just expect like that's how it is. You have to take care of yourself, and you take care of everyone else. And so, when the cancer hit, it was very, very hard to be able to share something so vulnerable, except for a few friends. And I was able to obviously journal on that, and that's how Shay's Warriors came to be. But now I'm 4 years past, so I slip back into a pattern of not wanting to show that vulnerability anymore. And that's very hard to give myself grace and to be able to sit here and share, even though that's exactly what Shay's Warriors is about. And so that to be able to trust again that if I do ask for help, people will be there. It's very hard. It's like when I'm not here anymore, I should be strong again and not have to think about or not feel scared or not feel that stuff. Especially because I know that there are so many people going through such a worse time than what I'm going through. And yeah, gratitude with grace. I think that's like a new tagline here for something. I love that, Margie. That was beautiful. On Facebook Live, we have someone that is saying vision board, asking for help when needed while being independent, accomplishing things.
Thanks, Shay. We have just a couple minutes left. Does anyone want to have one more share, one more anything that's coming up? Well, I just would like to thank you all for having me on tonight. It's been a minute since I've led work. I've really just been in taking care of my son mode, and it feels so good to be with a group of strong women and in this conversation, and it lights me up. So thank you for the space to be here with you all and learn from you and hear from you. And I don't know, Rosemary or Shay, I don't know how you close out, if you share what's coming next or what you do, but we have just a couple minutes if you wanted to finish up.
I'd just like to thank you, and thank you, Shay, for the connection and for arranging this, because it was a wonderfully beneficial and vast topic that you successfully made appropriate for a short period of time. So it's like, I feel like this hour has been spent with something that's really going to help us focus our lives and improve for the future, for the coming days and weeks, and build on that. So thank you very much. I think you did a great job.
I definitely want to echo that. I love the little, like the idea of kind of like miniaturizing the vision boards, like and just carrying it with you. And also, I like to do Pinterest too. So taking a screenshot of the vision board and having it, like I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for attending tonight, everyone on Zoom. Thank you everybody on our Facebook Live and the watch party. And thank you for attending tonight. As you know, Shays Warriors is Life After Cancer. And these talk, listen, and shares is for everybody. It's for the understanding and the healing, for your friends and family to show up too, just so you get a little insight on obviously what goes on after the cancer world, or even when you're going through it sometimes. So my name is Shay. Thank you, Rosemary and Dr. Fung, for hosting our group always. Thank you to our amazing board members. Eileen, I know you're on as well. And thank you, Molly, for taking the time to share your gift with us tonight. Our next Talk, Listen, and Share is in 2 weeks. And what's the topic again? I'm sorry. We'll put it out on Facebook. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Bye-bye.